Oh, this is the non-dual lectionary for the 10th Sunday after Pentecost, year A. We're continuing with Matthew, and we have a classic story today. Let's see if we can see something new in it. It is Matthew chapter 14, verses 13 through 21. Jesus feeds the 5,000. When Jesus heard what had happened, he withdrew by boat privately to a solitary place. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him on foot from the towns. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed their sick. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food." Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." "We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them here to me," he said. And he directed the people to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. So classically, this is just a straightforward miracle story, right? Um, I think I think there's something kind of sitting right here for us to see. Gleaning those non-dual nuggets. And to me, it's about it's a lesson of kind of action and non-action action. Mm. So so I've read different interpretations about like how this happened, right? You take it, you take it semi-literally that like there was actually this big group and that everybody got fed. And then there's the, oh, it's a miracle version, but then there's another version where they say, well, at the time, um, there'd be a practice that people would have brought with them something to eat. And once Jesus started sharing what to eat, everybody else would pull out what they had also and would also share it. And so it's not so much that food was created out of nothing, but that all the sharing happened, right? I don't think it really matters because uh underneath this, right, is what's again, back to like the idea of non-action action. And from a what we might call a non-dual perspective, right, or recognition, it's something like and again, and it's not like from that, it's more like living it out. Um, you know, People who recognize non their true nature, um it's not that they stop doing things, right? From an external perspective. Like if you watch them, they are still acting in the world and doing things. But there's still a message that we get from them of like I'm not doing any action, right? There's no doer here. And so it's kind of like, well, how does that get done then, right? Like and you hear these questions a lot in spiritual circles, right? Like to the teachers, it's like, well, how will all the things I need to get done get done? How will I know that I'm going to do them if I don't care about anything, right? Or whatever it is. And so first of all, the only true answer every time, right, is always, well, go and find out. But the second, when someone does attempt to explain it, it's something like, well, it's not that nothing gets done, it's just that there's no doer doing it, right? There's no subject who decides to act on the world, make a thing happen. It's more that um, things happen, right? Like, and the phrase I sometimes use is like, go where life goes, right? Like, um, a flower blooms, an oak tree grows, a dog barks, and none of them necessarily have a subject who's deciding to do a thing. And if they don't decide to do the thing, then it doesn't get done, right? And so by the same token, the message is something like a human life can also be a life of action that just goes where it goes, right? And so, a flower blooming is not a simple action. There's a complicated things that go into that, right? So it doesn't mean that only simplistic things can be done either. It doesn't even mean that no thoughts would be involved, right? Or planning or anything like that. But at the same time, it's just a matter of living it out, going where life goes. And so here I think we can see the same kind of thing, right? So the disciples are saying, oh, we need to instruct them about what to do, right? Tell all these people to go out and eat. And Jesus says, like, well, let's just give them something to eat. It's kind of like it's not magical thinking. This is the other thing, right? Of like, it's not saying we'll just trust and everything will happen as it should, or that God will provide in a magical way, right? It's more like let's just do what we do and go where life goes. And if the people are there and they're hungry, um, they're either not as hungry as they are for whatever they're either their desire to eat something is less than their desire to be there, which is fine. Or if they're not leaving and the disciples think they're hungry, well, then there probably is food around. And either way, if we just kind of start the food, maybe things will just happen as they happen. And I just did that in an analytical thought-based way, right? But um, you can kind of see how you might skip past that too, in a way. Um, and again, the point isn't that we need to figure out how it happens, or even like sit back and go, well, in the next setting when something is a situation like this, we should do X and Y because that's what happened then. It's more that I think this is just an example of Jesus living through true nature, living his non-dual nature, recognizing, like, not even recognizing, like, just living with what is, right? Living as what is, and say and kind of going, let's eat. And everybody ate. Or everybody that needed to eat ate. And maybe some people left and went and got food. Who cares? Um, but yeah, in that way, it's just simply, acting, non-action acting, right? Like something like that. And I think this is like there's that layer down, right? Where can we see what's happening? Jesus isn't worried about it. Jesus isn't concerned. He just does what he does. He goes where life goes, and because what is already what is, it just plays out, and everything is fine. So I think this is just there's that nugget in there, right? That I think if you have ears, then we can hear.